wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Welcome to this live, all about your health and more. So we will talk quite a bit about our health and more. That's the topic of this live, and this live is being brought to you simultaneously on both the YouTube, my handle there being Adventures of Lescott, and TikTok platform, lescott.charles. Folks, kindly like, share, follow, and subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking. Yeah, if you're in sync with that which I'm trying to create, to bring forward, to inspire, to encourage, to motivate, yes, you along this journey of getting more health conscious, yes, because that's what my aim is for myself and for you. So my name is Lescott. I am located in the beautiful tri-island state of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Yes, it's the state of Grenada comprising not just Grenada, the main island, but Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Kindly pay us a visit. Yes, you won't regret. So today is the 19th of October. Many of you here and probably abroad would remember this day in history. 42 years ago, members, our beloved statesman, prime minister, eloquent speaker, regionalist, a Caribbean man, himself and members of his cabinet and fellow activists were unalived, unfortunately. So today is National Heroes Day, commemorating himself and others that paid the ultimate price for this country. Yes? My hearts must go out to the administration, the present administration, for making that bold move, for taking that gigantic step legislatively to ensure that this day is a public holiday. And although it's Sunday, the actual day in terms of the holiday will be tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Monday. But today, the 19th of October, will always be recognized by Grenada, Grenadians, and patriots alike, regionally and internationally. Yes? So, my day was a busy one, especially during the afternoon period. I tried to get me some footage. I did get some footage that I would share with you on each of the platforms, yes? Videos relative to the day, commemorating the unalive of these individuals, plus the dedication of an additional portion of land adjacent to Camahon Park for that purpose and as a green space for recreation. Again, let me shout out and give a hearty, I don't know, I'm looking for the words, it's so big. Thank the administration for again taking that bold step. I went down that side today, and when I got there and I started doing my video on the actual Camahon Park as is, and I did some of the adjacent section, it brought back memories for me. I remembered as a young boy growing up, every August, the Anglican Church had what they call a luncheon at the then Riviera Hotel. Does anyone here on the live in Grenada, or maybe Grenadians living abroad, remember the Riviera Hotel? It was a prominent hotel with some guest houses, individual guest houses, just to the right or adjacent Camahan Park. I used to look forward to that with my friends, my family. You had luncheon, you had music, you had eats, you had drinks. Yes? It was operated by a well-known family at that time. I remember them, but I don't want to call the name. Yes? So the Riviera Hotel is no longer in existence. And I remember the past administration, and I'm subject to correction, leased or sold it to a developer. Yes? And the developer had intentions through the then previous administration to acquire Camahan Park, and we had protests and what happened relative to that, and eventually they backed out. Yes? So with this incoming administration, what they did is they went back to acquire and restructured how we as Grenada go about giving land for development to developers, albeit foreign individuals or groups. I think one of the things they've done, and I have to applaud them again, is to ensure that there is a lease that is given to developers and not the land sold to them. So let's say they're given 5 years or 10 years. After that, it would be reviewed, and then possibly they will do it over again. It can be, renewed. That's what I'm looking for. Yes? So that portion of land was reacquired under some agreement with the person that acquired it from under the previous administration. Yeah? And I think some agreement was made for them to take over a CBI project that's been standing as a white elephant on one end of Grand Anse Beach overlooking the furthest end, Moine Rouge to be exact. Yes? So that whole piece, Camahan Park, plus the lands on which the then Riviera Hotel once stood, is going to merge together to have a green space and a national heroes park. Yes? Kudos once again to the administration for again taking this bold step. Yes? For taking this bold step. Yes? So folks, look out. I'm going to do some editing at some point in time within the next day or two and showcase that which I'm speaking about. I attempted to do a live up at another historic location where the actual unaliving took place, that is Fort George. Yes? But I was told because it's currently under renovation, refurbishing, bringing it back to its pristine state, yes, that live videoing and so is not encouraged, cannot be encouraged at this point in time. I was told that by individuals who represents the authorities. That's what I've been told. Yeah. I did get a little bit towards the entrance, however, I'm going to give that. But the additional rest where we went to the actual site where the event occurred, then the tunnels and what have you, I would have to leave out that so as not to create any issues. Hey, Rasta Muffin, thank you for the like, brother. Thank you for the like. Yeah. But I took some still photos and images of the actual ceremony, the laying of the wreath on that grounds. Yes. That infamous grounds, I would call it infamous. Yes. And that will come up as well within the next day or two. Yes. It's been raining cats and dogs from since yesterday. We had thunder, lightning, and persistent showers. Sometimes heavy, sometimes light. But it's been raining, yep. I had already planned since yesterday to do that which I'm doing, and there was no denying. I had my backpack and I was ready, all ready to get that done. Yep. So I'm thankful to the mercies of the Almighty. I just ensured that I was comfortably dressed, umbrella, coat, boots, what have you, and I made it a point to get the content that I can provide you so that you see firsthand what transpired today. Yeah. So as I say, that will be coming up within the next day or two. Yeah. Thank you each and every one there for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This live is being brought to you simultaneously on both the YouTube and TikTok platforms. Kindly share, like, follow, and subscribe. I crave the interaction. Yes. Please interact. Ask any questions. Feel free. That which I don't know, I aim to provide. Yes. Let us know as first timers where you're joining from. Yes? Thanks in advance. Hey, Chantel, Lisa J, Blair, Pascal, One Dan Official, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Irene Velasquez on YouTube. How are you? Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Folks, so we'll continue. Let's continue on the journey with me sharing with you valuable, scientifically backed data, figures, and information courtesy of David B. Agus, MD, A Short Guide to a Long Life, so that you can help to prevent the many illnesses, sicknesses, and diseases that befalls us. You have to do it for you. Nobody else can do it for you. Yes? It is incumbent upon each and every one of us to take charge of our mental health and well-being. Yes? Again, the name of the book is A Short Guide to a Long Life. If you can lay your hands by purchasing this book, whether it's a hard or soft copy, I would strongly encourage. In lieu of that, on the 31st of October, I will be offering 5 of these books free of cost to the winners, 5 persons who answers 1 or 2 trivia questions that I'm going to pose. Yes? You have to be following me religiously to know what I'm about, to know some of the things I like, to be able to answer 1 or 2 of the questions. Yes? It will be coming to each one of you winners to your place, wherever you may be, free of cost. On the 31st of October, that being my birthday, 2025. Hey, Toya, my dear, thank you for joining. How are you? So the last time I ended up on chapter 18, where he spoke about starting a sensible cap. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift. Sexy Mara J, 78. How are you? Welcome, Sexy Mara J. Thank you for the live. Thank you for the gift. How are you? How are you? Blessed love. Welcome. Yes, so David A. Agus is encouraging us. He doesn't want us to go out on a limb and become addicted to coffee, yeah? Because coffee can be very addictive. But he points to some health benefits that can be derived by consuming a bit of caffeine, coffee. The natural type, eh? The natural type. Yes, I want to emphasize that. Thank you for joining. How is the weather on your side? How is the weather on your side? We've been having a lot of rain, thunder, and lightning here where I'm at, man. Rain, heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Thank you for joining. Welcome. So we have a long weekend here. Yes? Today marks the 42nd anniversary of the end of the revolution. Yes, when we had some unfortunate incidences occurring. Yeah. So because it's today Sunday, tomorrow Monday will reflect the public holiday. Yes. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Yeah. Oh, it's rainy too. It's rainy too. Okay. And I don't know if it's going to continue well into tomorrow. I did not pay any attention to that during the course of the day. Are you aware that it will continue so tomorrow as well, Sexy Margie? So we're going to go on to chapter 19. Naturally sweet. Good evening, good night, welcome. How are you? Thank you for joining. Welcome everyone. Chapter 19, it says, ask mom or dad what killed grandpa and Aunt Marge. Ask mom or dad what killed grandpa and Aunt Marge. So he's delving into the family history. Yes? Family history. Did your grandparents die of old age? The question is being asked. Akelba. Good evening, good night, welcome. Where are you joining the live from? Thank you for joining. Did your grandparents die of old age? The last time you had to fill out a health history questionnaire in the doctor's office and you encountered questions about relatives and whether or not anyone in your family suffered from heart disease, dementia, or cancer, did you find yourself scratching your head? I know for a fact that has happened to me on several occasions. Did it happen to any one of you on the platform, whether it's YouTube or TikTok? Did you have to be scratching your head, maybe not literally, trying to figure out what they would have died from? Hey, Danny. Good evening. Welcome. Good night. Asking our parents and other family members about the diseases, and let me take it over. Asking our parents and other family members about the diseases in our bloodline is not an easy thing to do. But it can be more effective at helping us prevent illnesses than any technical test performed by a lab. Folks, I believe it's a good thing when we know what our family history is, what our parents and foreparents may have died from. So then we can be proactive, think in terms of preventative measures. Am I making sense? Is he making sense? Let me know what you think. But it can be more effective at helping us prevent illnesses than any technical test performed by a lab. In fact, family history is one of the most underused but powerful tools for understanding your health. Folks, let me take that over. In fact, but let me take it from the top. But it can be more effective at helping us prevent illnesses than any technical test performed by a lab. And we're speaking here about knowing what your family history, your foreparents history, knowing what they died from. Yep. In fact, family history is one of the most underused but powerful tools for understanding your health. And it's the surest way to escape, more invasive tests. Let me repeat. And it's the surest way to escape more invasive tests. So buck up and ask the tough questions. Yes, sometimes they can be tough questions. Spend some time questioning your relatives about the family's health history. Not enough of us have created this asset, which can be a tremendous tool in helping us and other family members understand our risk for cancer, heart disease, and other ailments. Hey, Joseph Douglas, welcome, good evening, thank you for joining. Folks, that is certainly food for thought. Has any one of you on the live, anybody on the live, whether it's TikTok or YouTube, done that or have thought about it or have decided to do some research, some inquiries of your parents as to some of the ailments and sicknesses and so that may have befallen them or their parents, so that then you are in a better position informatively to take better care of yourself. Hey Spice, good evening, good night. Hey Bad Karma, 007, welcome. If querying mom or dad and your favorite uncle over the phone sounds daunting, then make it a goal to initiate the conversation at your next family gathering. If you're afraid to do it over the phone, then do it one-on-one or at the family's gathering. Hey brown guy, good evening, good night, welcome. Thank you for joining. Don't be afraid. It's two things I always say. It's either yes or no. They tell you or they don't tell you. And again, every word that they will utter begins with a letter from A to Z. I know Z, some of you know Z. It's one and the same. Yes? First Take Dawn, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining, folks. Kindly share, like, and follow. Kindly share, like, follow, and subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking. Feel free to ask any questions. Oh, Grenada, Canada. Welcome, brown guy. Thank you for joining. Another spice representing. Thank you. Welcome. So don't be afraid to ask. Yes? It can help not just you, but your kids, your siblings, what have you. Yes? It's important that you and I know our history in that regard. Yes? Reunions, holidays, and even funerals can make for ideal times to talk. Really? Probably is. The US Surgeon General operates a free website. It has long past, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. Yeah? That will help you to create a family health history and share it electronically with relatives and your doctor. One word of caution. Be sure to obtain information from both sides, on your mother's side and on your father's side. It makes absolute sense. Especially if you're a woman who knows less about your paternal relatives than those from your mother's side. Why did they emphasize on woman? I remember in one of the chapters, I elaborated on the fact when he said, in the case of the red wine, the female ought to take one drink and the men two. Still trying to figure out why the men should take two and not one just as well. A higher risk for breast or ovarian cancer can originate from either side of the family. So I guess that's the reason why. What about in men prostate cancer? I am thinking that information can be of significant importance to the male populace. You know, myself and you know, brothers alike. You know, it's just my take. Yeah. So we're going on to chapter 20. Consider DNA testing. Consider DNA testing. Before I get into this, I am a sticker for researching my family. I think I've always had it in me. But I guess as I'm getting older, you know, it's showing up more and more. In fact, at one point in time, I wanted to rival Ancestry.com by doing, I wouldn't give the name, something similar. Because we don't have that here in Grenada, let alone the Caribbean. Maybe I will ultimately do it, who knows? But I like to know my family. I am a family-oriented person. Yes? Whether it's cousins, aunts, what have you. Yeah? My maternal side is big. My paternal side is even bigger. Quite a number of siblings, aunts, cousins, and other family members. And ever so often, one or two turns up. Yeah? I never had that kind of information from my dad, from my father. Let me say father. Dad seems more caring. I hope you all could read when I'm saying dad seems more caring and understand where I'm coming. Let me say father. Yes? I had more of it from my mother, my mom. You hear the tone? My mother, my mom. Yes? I had to scratch and dig on my father's side. And as fast as I know, I shared it with others, other siblings, other cousins, what have you, so that they themselves know. Even apart from that, if I have any, or if we have, let me just say that, any family members, whether it's cousins, siblings, and so visit Grenada, I aim to encourage everybody, all of us, to meet. Yep. So let's go on. Chapter 20, consider DNA testing. So your grandfather died of a heart attack in his 50s, and your mom was diagnosed with colon cancer in her 40s. Let me just take it over. So your grandfather died of a heart attack in his 50s, and your mom was diagnosed with colon cancer in her 40s. What should you take from that bit of information? What should you take from that bit of information? What should I take from that bit of information? There we have it. A history on both your mother's side, on your grandfather's side, and your mom's side. Possibilities exist that we may succumb to the same thing. And so it is a good thing to know. Hey Vella, thank you for joining. Welcome. It is always a good thing to know. Yep. You might want to have your heart and colon checked out using the latest technology when you celebrate your 40th birthday. We are speaking the same thing differently. You might want to have your heart and colon checked out using the latest technology when you celebrate your 40th birthday. Does it have to get to 40 years though for you to do those checks? I say no. I say no. Hey, Kathy Alexander, thank you for joining. Welcome. How is everybody doing this evening? How is your Sunday going? How was the day for each and every one of you? I hope it was enjoyable. Yes? I hope you get a lot of things done. Possibly went to church, recreated with family, and sort of rejuvenated for tomorrow, Monday, the beginning of another work week. Yes? Let me just say thank you once again to each and every one of you. It's another in my episode, Let's Talk Health and More, being aired simultaneously on both YouTube and TikTok. Kindly share, like, follow, subscribe. But more so, interact. And as first timers on this platform, YouTube and TikTok, let me know kindly where you're joining the live from. Yep. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the sharing. Welcome. The government maintains recommendations of when we all should get screened for this and that. The government maintains recommendations of when we all should get screened for this and that. But a much better way to know when and if you should ask for certain tests is to have an idea of your individual risk. Thank you for the rose, Sexy Marriage. Thank you for the rose. It is always a good idea to ask for certain tests or relative to your individual risk from family history. And if you wish for as much accuracy as possible, you can further add to that library of knowledge by spitting into a tube and getting your DNA screened. Folks, nowadays it's prepackaged. You can buy an over-the-counter DNA test that will give you instantaneous results. It is so much easier. Currently, we can look at genetic risk profiles for about 40 conditions, from aneurysms to multiple sclerosis to stomach cancer. A small handful of companies have emerged that conduct genetic testing. I'm a firm believer in the power of this technology, which will continue to have more utility as we add more medical conditions to the existing list and learn about new associations between DNA, variants, and certain illnesses. The test won't only tell you what your DNA says about your risk, it can also clue you into how your body metabolizes drugs and substances like caffeine and alcohol. So the test is multifaceted. Yes? I should note that the availability of genetic tests has varied over the past several years as the FDA, Federal Drug Administration, begins to regulate their quality and health claims. If an FDA-reviewed test is not available to you today, have patience. one will be sued. These tests do cost several $100s, but once you pay for them, you'll gain access through the internet to ongoing information relevant to you and based on new research. Many of the companies that conduct the testing allow you to have an online account where you can keep track of new science that pertains to your unique DNA. Thank you for the share, Sexy Marriage. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Maribon, 28, welcome, good evening, good night to each and every one of you, wherever you are. Thank you for joining. You will also learn how you can modify your current behavior to reduce your risk of conditions you may be susceptible to and identify what's important to tell your doctor. There are examples where genes can be identified that correlate with having a particular side effect from a drug, or that indicate that you will or won't have a benefit from that drug, or can help determine the right dose for your metabolism. By knowing how you are likely to respond to certain medications, you and your doctor can work together to make the right choices. That's why, if you would recall, those of you hearing me say a while back that you need to be frank, open, and straight up with your doctor. He is in the best position as someone trained in that profession to advise, to guide, to prescribe, to give you ideas and suggestions as to what can be done based on what you tell him about your sicknesses, illnesses, or diseases. Be straightforward, open, and tell the truth. The truth is the only thing that will set you free. One of the more powerful tools that DNA screening provides in share motivation, is share motivation. Sorry, let me take it over. One of the more powerful tools that DNA screening provides is share motivation. I'm trying to understand that, but I guess you will elaborate. I can tell you that you have a 30% chance of becoming obese based on the rate of obesity in the general population, which is probably white noise to you. But if your DNA could inform you that your risk of becoming obese in your lifetime is 60 to 80% based on your genetics, this would likely mean something. It would definitely mean something. Wouldn't it? That might be enough to inspire you to pay more attention to the habits that affect your weight. Another way to look at it, if you knew that your personal risk for having a fatal heart attack in your life was 90%, you'd probably do everything you could to treat your heart well. Well, a few nights ago he got me scared when he spoke in terms of persons like myself taking care of the elderly and their risk of getting a heart attack is high. And based on his research, heart attacks oftentimes occurs on Mondays, the first working day for most of you. So I was taken aback. I had to sit up and sort of look myself in the mirror. But you know what? That is not going to faze me. That is not going to dawn me doing what I am doing for my mother. Yes? Ensuring that her needs Amit. It is challenging, and I oftentimes ask the Almighty for patience. The combination of your DNA profile and the history you glean from family members can ultimately answer a lot of questions for you. Should you have a glass of wine with dinner? Should you get a mammogram before you turn 40? I dare say yes. Can you wait until 50 to undergo your first colonoscopy? You probably can. I only recently did mine. And I'm beyond 50. Yes? I only recently, a few months ago, did my very first colonoscopy without being sedated. I spoke to a few persons and they asked me if I was crazy. You know, my mom just had a friend. Wow. And you see, kid, these are the issues. We know once we get to a certain age, and we know this one is a silent one, but I often say they give signs. And sometimes the signs are subtle, you know. But if we take charge and we do the steps, we do tests, we do checks routinely, we just might be able to prevent these things and them. I am so sorry to hear that. Yeah? We know that one is a silent killer. Yes? And so that is why I'm trying to encourage, motivate, and inspire the general populace, you, my followers, my viewers, my well-wishers, and especially the men, to step up and do right. Take charge. Take charge of your mental health and well-being. It can be done. Thank you for the like, Sexy Marriage. Thank you. Bonjour, Annick. Sorry. Désolé. Bon nuit. Bon nuit. Annick. Bon nuit. Ou bonjour, Annick. Bienvenue, Annick. Bienvenue. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? So let's go. The combination of your DNA profile and the history you glean from family members can ultimately answer a lot of questions for you. Ah, bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Très bien, très bien. Et toi? Folks, that is a friend of mine. She's not too versed with the English. I am not too versed with the French, but there are little things that I can do, you know. So that is why I always say we share similarities, though we might be separated by miles, by languages, by culture, by skin, by religion. We are all one people. I mean, look at that. Yes? So let me read. Can you wait until you're 50 to undergo your first colonoscopy? Is a stress test on your heart a good idea? No. When should you consider taking a statin and baby aspirin? Should you be on the lookout for diabetes? These are questions that we, me, you, all of us can ask ourselves. And again, folks, it would be so nice if you can lay your hands on a copy of this book that would guide you factually. It's so simple. Suggestions and ideas by this experienced, knowledgeable, learned MD, David B. Agus. Is a switch from participating in multiple marathons a year to a few marathons a good idea given your age and risk for joint problems? Well, I say if that is the case, you're having joint problems and you're accustomed to doing 5 marathons, scale it down and see what happens. Yep. Because there is no one size fits all in medicine, it pays to be able to answer questions like these. Folks, we're coming on to the final chapter. Chapter 21. Inquire about statins if you're over the hill. Can anyone on the live share with us what a statin is? I'm quite sure when I read along, he would explain what a statin is. But is there anyone on the live, whether it be YouTube or TikTok, familiar with the word statin and what it means? Thank you for the like. Thank you for the like. Folks, kindly share, like, follow, and subscribe. This live is being brought simultaneously on YouTube and TikTok. Your input is invaluable. I need you to help me along this journey. Yes, I'm only 1 year into this content creation. I'm still taking baby steps. There will be persons that have just started, as well as there will be persons ahead of me with more knowledge. I aim to learn, listen from each and every one, because I know I can gain something from someone and they probably can gain something from me. Yep. Heart disease still remains the #1 killer of Americans, trailed closely by cancer and then stroke. Oh, medications that lower cholesterol. Thank you very much, Sexy Marriage. Thank you very much. He also spoke about baby aspirins, and I could recall an ex-co-worker of mine. He is no longer with us. He suffered, I think it was high blood pressure, I think. And I remember oftentimes seeing him with aspirin, always using aspirin, you know. And it's only afterward I learned that it helped to thin the blood. Yeah. So thanks again there, Sexy Marriage. Thank you. Hey, Chad Charles, welcome. Age-adjusted death rates from cardiovascular disease have declined 60 to 70% since 1950, thanks to advances in technology, including the use of statins, yes, medications that lower cholesterol, and better education about diet, exercise, and the risk of smoking. But the vast majority of us are still going to die of heart disease, stroke, or cancer, either at a ripe old age or sooner if we don't take preventative measures. For a long time, we thought statins were targeting only cholesterol, and that by reducing the body's production of cholesterol, they were responsible for lowering one's risk for heart disease. But it turns out that they have a profound effect on the entire body. Statins have the power to change the whole environment by lowering inflammation, a biological process that can run amok and trigger all kinds of dysfunctions and illnesses. To be clear, statins are compounds that inhibit a liver enzyme that plays a central role in the production of cholesterol. They are among the most commonly prescribed drugs in medicine to improve blood cholesterol levels in people who cannot control their cholesterol level through diet alone, and they include such brands as Lipitor and Crestor. I have heard about Lipitor. So that is what these two drugs are used primarily for. Lipitor and Crestor. Anytime you would have come across or heard about these two medications, they help to regulate and control cholesterol Lipitor, and Crestor. Statin compounds can be derived synthetically or isolated from naturally occurring foods such as red yeast rice and oyster mushrooms. But as I've already mentioned, statins don't just affect cholesterol. When a body has high levels of inflammation markers, it means that it's encountering harmful stimuli, which can be any number of things from germs or damaged cells to irritants. To protect itself, the body triggers inflammation, an elaborate response involving the vascular system, the immune system, and various cells within the injured tissue. Researchers are now discovering bridges between certain kinds of inflammation and our most pernicious degenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's disease, cancer, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, and an accelerated aging process in general. Virtually all chronic conditions have been linked to chronic inflammation. The first study to point out the value of statins in reducing inflammation came out of Harvard in 2008. It showed that taking these drugs could dramatically lower the risk of first-time heart attacks, strokes, and other artery problems in healthy men over 50 and women over 60 years of age who do not have high cholesterol but have high levels of inflammation markers, a sign that something isn't right and that the body is experiencing lots of widespread inflammation. We know now that the real underlying reason for cardiovascular events may not be all about cholesterol, and that chronic inflammation is likely the cause. We also know that statins may not be all about preventing heart trouble. Since 2008, numerous other studies from impressively large controlled populations have demonstrated that statins can significantly lower our risk from dying of anything, cancer included. Case in point, the New England Journal of Medicine published a study in 2012 involving 300,000 people that chronicled a dramatically lowered risk of death from cancer among those who took statins. Is a statin for everyone? Probably not. But it's worth a discussion with your doctor if you're over 50 years old. In fact, pose the question as follows. Doc, why shouldn't I be on a statin? Doc, why shouldn't I not be on a statin? This brings to a close chapter 21, the 3 verses that I shared with you from this book, A Short Guide to a Long Life. It's only 190 pages. Yes? You can either get it in hard or soft cover. I urge you, my followers, well-wishers, viewers, subscribers, to read up about this book or purchase a copy. Or take a chance at winning one on the 31st of October, my birthday. Thank you for the like. For 1 or 2 trivia questions. Winners will receive a copy free of cost, all expenses paid wherever you are. Folks, it's always a pleasure, it's always a joy, it's a privilege to share with you what I strongly believe in. I aim not just to preach and speak about it, but to act. With health and strength, I'll be restarting after my vacation, my physical on the beach in the early morning hours. I hope you can join. Yes? And then at 9 a.m. sharp, God's willing again, to be in my kitchen where I put a spin on simple meals, preparing same for both my mother and I. Let me thank each and every one of you who just dropped in, who gifted, who shared, who liked, who followed, who subscribed or will subscribe, who interacted. Yes? Thank you, Sexy Mara J. Big up to you. Thank you immensely for being a part as always. I want to big up all my other friends here in Grenada, Caracupiti, Martinique, the Caribbean, Trinidad, Guyana, Jamaica. I want to also give a shout out to someone from, I think it's either the Virgin Islands, either the British or the US Virgin Islands. He too will be celebrating his birthday in this month. I think it's the 25th. If you're under the sound of my voice, just remind me, please. Are there any other persons on the live that celebrated their birthday today or will be celebrating their birthday during the course of this month? Feel free to let me know so that we can all join in wishing everyone a happy birthday. Yes? October is my month. Yes? Thanks again. Thank you. Good evening, good night, good morning. I hope your day tomorrow is a productive one, an enjoyable one, and a safe one. Yes, be blessed. And please look forward to much more from me, content-wise, on both YouTube and TikTok. Have a good night. Thank you once again.